Yes. I was the first one to meet Steven, and then we needed a singer, so I was out one night at the Key Club at Janie Lane's memorial, and I ran into Jacob and my mutual friend Jay Rustin, and I told Jay that we were looking for a singer. So Jay said, well, I know the perfect guy. He's here tonight. Looks like just like you, but he's a lot taller. His name is Jacob Bunton, and so he texted him, and Jacob came back and met me, and I knew instantly, well, this is the guy that needs to front this band.
Okay.
And then the next day I introduced him to Steven, and it all snowballed from there.
It was really cool. It was organic, and it happened pretty quick. You know, it was in August. It was when Janie Lane's memorial. It was at the Key Club, and like he said, we met. The next day, he and Steven came to my hotel room, and we just started talking, really bonded, and started talking about music. More than anything, before we ever played together, we just made sure that our personalities all, fit. And we sat and talked about music forever. Obviously, Steven's a big fan of the 70s stuff that he grew up with. He had, Aerosmith and Queen, and of course, us, we grew up on, Guns N' Roses and Poison and Motley Crue and Duran Duran and punk rock and everything else. So it was just a cool thing. And and then I live in Birmingham, Alabama, and the rest of the guys live out here. So me and Lonny just started sending songs back and forth through email and writing that way for a little while. And then in January of last year, 2012, we started recording with Jeff Bilson, started doing the record, and met this crazy character right here.
Yeah, actually, Lonny and I have been friends for about 11 or 12 years now. And he ended up calling me over to a party at his house here to meet Steven. And we were in the office, and I picked up the bass when we were having a conversation. I inadvertently started playing a Rush song, and then Steven was like, that's the guy. That's him. If you could play Rush, that's him, And then I had to go on tour with another artist for about a month. Then I get an email from Lonny saying, about a week before the end of the tour, that Steven wants you in the band. And as soon as I got off the plane, I called Lonny the next day. I got all the songs. 2 days later, I was doing a video. And then I met Jacob, around that same time, and it was great. We just all hit it off immediately.
Well, we literally met right before the video.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was insane. One reason that our record sounds not like everybody else and a little bit different and original is because when we went into making this record, honestly, we didn't give two shits about having a single, a radio single. We weren't interested in what everybody else is doing. One of the things that we talked about at the very beginning is Steven said, the music that I grew up on, when Aerosmith came on the radio, as soon as you heard Steven Tyler, you knew it was Aerosmith. When you heard that riff, Let the Good Times Roll from the Cars, just that guitar tone, you didn't need to hear anything else. You knew it was the Cars. When you heard Freddie Mercury sing, you knew it was Queen. When you heard Alex Van Halen's drum sound, you knew it was Van Halen. So it was very important for him and for all of us to just not worry about what the trends were right now, not worry about what's going on at radio, just create a good, honest-to-God rock and roll record. Our own sound, our own tones. We took a lot of time on the guitar tones, and of course Steven, he's got his own swing, his swagger that he does with the drums. And another thing is a lot of the way the bands record these days is they do everything in sections. A band doesn't get in a room and play a song all the way through. They just do sections, then they move on, and then they retune and move on. And with this record, we just played. We got in a room and we played. We didn't rely on all the modern technology to piece things together. We didn't, use auto-tune and all the other stuff. So, our songs, they speed up, they slow down, but that's rock and roll. It's supposed to speed up and slow down. It's not supposed to sound like a machine.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to sound like humans played it. And so that's, going back to your question about the influences and everything, like we touched on already, our influences are all over the place. from 70s rock to 80s rock to current stuff to bluegrass to country. So, you know, that's why Back from the Dead, you know, starts the way that it does. The very first song with mandolin and guitar and dobro. You know, just a very swampy feel. That's kind of like the Alabama, the South, you know, thing.